Hi, welcome to our group's debate project for SPCE 619. Our topic is Transition Age Youth, Empowerment versus Care. My name is Justice Gonzalez-Smith, and I'm from Virginia. I will be doing the introduction and conclusion to our topic, as well as addressing the assigned questions.
Hello, my name is Ebony Woods, and I'm from Virginia. I will be arguing from the empowerment side of our debate and providing rebuttals to the care argument.
Hi, my name is Tori Deal. I'm from Louisiana. I will be arguing for the care side of our debate, providing rebuttals to the empowerment argument, as well as providing visuals for both sides of the debate.
Graduating high school is notoriously an exciting time in a young adult's life. They are usually getting ready to start their own independent lives, whether that be starting a job, moving out, and/or going to college. We live in a society where independence is highly valued and what we consider a key factor in being successful. What happens to individuals with special needs, where independence doesn't come naturally? When in school, these children usually have one-to-one staff supporting assistance them in everyday tasks. In this debate, we specifically look at those with autism spectrum disorder, also referred to as ASD. For these individuals with ASD and their families, leaving the school setting can be a frightening time. There is a loss of structure and support, as a child with full-time care in a school setting now has to find their place in society. ASD is a vast spectrum, and some are higher functioning than others. Unable to get a job independently, support order. How much support should be given? There is a battle between the importance of empowerment versus the importance of care. Individual be as autonomous as possible, or that they receive care that is important for their quality of life. This question becomes even more difficult when looking at the transition age demographic. These young adults are transitioning out of high school and into the real world. Their options can be limited, and decisions are made on their behalf on how they will live their lives. It is easy to see how there is concern over transition age youth and their empowerment. However, there is still concern on delivering care to young adults with ASD, as many of these individuals still need assistance in their day-to-day lives. On the empowerment side, Ebony will be going over the importance of independent living outcomes for those with ASD and employment outcomes for those with ASD. On the care side, Tori will be looking at potential risks of autonomy with individuals with ASD and ASD healthcare for transition age youth.
Greetings, everyone. I wanted to start my argument for empowerment by providing a definition. Empowerment is defined in two ways. A, authority or power given to someone to do something, and B, the process of becoming stronger and more confident in controlling one's life and claiming one's life. According to research, the Department of Labor estimates that in 2011, 27% of adults between the ages of 16 and 64 years with disabilities were employed, compared with 70% of adults without disabilities. Poor outcomes in employment should not be construed as evidence that individuals with ASD cannot work. An extensive body of research has demonstrated that with appropriate supports, individuals with ASD can work in a variety of businesses and industries. More recent research has focused on strategies designed to increase employment retention by matching the individual to a complementary job. A variety of strategies have been successful in yielding an appropriate match, including offering choices, using assessments to determine task preferences, evaluating social and communications and adaptations. To provide clarity, it has to be understood that some individuals with ASD might need continuous care because of where they fall on the spectrum. Some clients are lower functioning, while others are higher functioning. Continuous care is not the suggested protocol for these individuals. Instead, consider what research suggests in relation to matching ASD individuals with complementary jobs through the use of skill assessments to initiate better job placement. Empowerment is an afforded right, which is preceded by continuous care. Consider this. What is ABA without generalization? Continuous care does not provide the individual with any authority or power over their life. According to Ethics Code 2.05, Rights and Prerogatives of Clients, A states the rights of the client are paramount and behavior analysts support clients' legal rights and prerogatives. Empowerment qualifies as a prerogative. Other research has identified interventions that improve independence in the home environment. These interventions are, but not limited to, video modeling, incidental teaching, errorless teaching, positive reinforcement, access to desired activities or items, and most to least prompting, as well as least to most prompting techniques. These efforts aid in increasing self-help skills, reducing inappropriate behaviors, and increasing participation in activities of daily living, which outlines the importance on why it is critical that these types of training sessions take place during adolescent years. Family involvement in the training is important, as many young adults need minor support and supervision. One must also consider that early intervention is paramount to individuals with ASD, as continuous care is sometimes severed after high school once the individual transitions into adulthood. After commencement of high school, all parties, which is not only the higher functioning individual, but parents, are not on the sidelines cheering for continuous care, because this is not the intended goal that parents have in mind when they visualize the term transitioning into adulthood. Parents who forge ABA principles into their children's lives at younger ages are looking for their child to generalize ABA concepts so that they can live more productive lives with minimal care. This is the main reasoning why parents move forward in seeking intervention of ABA skills during adolescent years to look forward to an empowered ASD individual in the years to come. According to the article To Be Understood, Transitioning to Adult Life for People with Autism Spectrum Disorder, parents shared their desire for their young children with ASD to succeed and reach their full potential, in addition to afforded opportunities to experience success by leveraging their special interests and strengths, potentially fostering their motivation, resulting in positive experiences, and building self-confidence. From this statement, one can delineate that many parents are not in agreement with continuous care for an indefinite time period, because quality of life for both parties becomes diminished. Consider this. The core principle, respect and autonomy, states, to respect one's autonomy means to promote his or her independence or self-sufficiency, which piggybacks off of the empowerment definition, Part A, which states, authority or power given to someone to do something, and Part B, the process of becoming stronger and more confident in controlling one's life and claiming one's life. Would you agree? Before you answer, also consider Ethical Standards 2.5D, which states discontinuation only occurs after efforts to transition have been made. Behavior analysts discontinue a professional relationship in a timely manner when a client, 1, no longer needs the service, 2, is not benefiting from the service, 3, is being harmed by continued service, or 4, when the client requests discontinuation. This is in addition to Ethical Code 4.11 A and B, which states behavior analysts establish undesirable and objective criteria for the discontinuation of the behavior change program and describe them to the client. Also, behavior analysts discontinue services with the client when the established criteria for discontinuations are attained, as in when a series of agreed upon goals have been met. This means that behavior analysts not only have to provide effective treatment, but also make a good judgment in discharging a client after transition efforts have been met along with mastery of goals. Up next is Tori.
These next three visuals will support the empowerment side. So the first table I got online from the U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics. It shows employment from 2016 to 2017. As you can see, highlighted in red shows the statistics of individuals with a disability who are employed in 2016 and 2017. And highlighted in purple shows the numbers of those individuals from ages 16 to 64 years old. And as you can see, it goes from 4,356 to 4,603. This shows an increase in employment of these individuals who have a disability. The second visual is a chart that shows the percentages of independent adults with ASD. I want to focus on the yellow and brighter blue areas. It shows that 19% is in yellow, which is used to show individuals between the ages of 18 and 25 years old. And in the brighter blue, it shows it as 25%, which is used to show individuals between the ages of 25 and 35 years old. And this just shows that individuals with autism between the ages of 25 and 35 are the highest age range of independent adults with ASD. The third visual is a table, and it shows the percent of independent adults with ASD and different life circumstances. So as you can see, it says attends school, has paid employment, lives with parents, and lives with a spouse. And it's grouped into two age groups, ages 18 to 25, and then age 26 and over. And I want to focus on just the paid employment percentages and the lives with parents percentages. As you can see, there is an increase from 36% to 58% for these individuals with autism that has paid employment, and then there's a decrease with the ones that live with parents. It goes from 93% to 21%. Now I will be talking about the importance of care in transitioned aged individuals with ASD. The first point I will be talking about concerns the risks of individuals with autism and why care is important regarding these risks. Health risks are much higher for individuals with autism. Individuals with autism have higher rates of associated chronic illnesses such as epilepsy, gastrointestinal disorders, feeding and nutritional problems, anxiety, depression, sleep issues. There are also health risks that stem from genetic aspects and environmental factors. Therefore, if a BCBA has any suspicions that the behavior of a client is influenced by medical or biological variables, he or she must seek medical consultation. And this refers to the BACB code 3.02, medical consultation. Families and caregivers need to be aware of these health risks. And like I mentioned before, once they realize it, they need to be able to consult a medical professional in order to provide effective treatment for the individual and for the individual to have the best opportunity to living a healthy life. Therefore, quality care needs to be a priority in order to minimize these health risks and to manage them as well. These risks can be in multiple environments, such as our daily living routines, higher education institutions, social settings, and healthcare settings. Regarding risks in healthcare settings, autism does not necessarily make one less independent or unhealthy, but it can complicate identification and the management of other illnesses unrelated to autism. And it is important for parents, guardians, and healthcare providers to support and care for the individual. There are many risks for an individual in healthcare environment. Kind of how I mentioned before, they are at higher risks and rates for associated chronic medical illnesses, and these health outcomes can be brought up from genetic aspects or environmental factors. Regarding risks for an individual in daily living routines, the individual might not be able to anticipate danger, self-control, judgment, memory, perception, and research shows that the most important factor to help protect these kind of risks from a young adult transitioning is having a strong, caring family and supporting services such as school and healthcare. Care between the family, school, and healthcare providers establish a foundation for the individual, which later is coupled with life skills that will develop self-esteem and confidence. This supports the fact that a BCBA should identify and communicate who the primary client of the services is, and no matter what, will advocate for his or her best interests. This refers to the BACB code 2.02, responsibility. Secondly, I will focus on healthcare among individuals with autism. Healthcare is defined as efforts made to maintain or restore physical, mental, or emotional well-being. Healthcare is a very important matter for an individual with autism. People with disabilities face significant disparities in healthcare environments, but according to the Americans with Disabilities Act, access to healthcare is a civil right. The Act requires individual strategies to address the specific barriers. Risks and proper health care need to be addressed. Without this care from the start, an individual with autism would not gain the skills and necessities to be able to be independent. Parents who have a child with autism are faced with issues of balancing risks and independence. As the child transitions into adulthood, there are several considerations regarding care and quality of life that the individual, families, and other service providers will face. Without this care, empowerment would not exist for the individual. Without the services, such as interventions provided from behavioral analysts, empowerment wouldn't exist. Without medical doctors and their knowledge in medicine, an individual with autism would not physically or mentally be able to reach autonomy. Families, doctors, school teachers all provide care, support, and services to the individual to help him or her be able to achieve independence. Now, the next three visuals are going to support the care side. So this fourth visual is a chart that shows the increased ratios for an individual with autism to have some other health condition. So as you can see, schizophrenia and OCD are much higher than the other conditions listed, but all of these health conditions are much more likely to be in individuals with autism. Therefore, care needs to be available to these individuals. The next visual is a chart that shows the percentage of comorbid health conditions with individuals with autism. As you can see in this visual, ADD and ADHD are at 25%, and anxiety disorders are at 24%. And caring for these individuals and caring for these health problems are a very important necessity as well that needs to be a high priority. And this last visual is part of a real-life example that I had found. It focuses on adults with autism that need more healthcare needs. Dr. Lisa is the director of an autism research program in California. She investigated the rate of health problems in adults. There's been very little attention on adults with autism to date, so she conducted the first large study examining medical and psychiatric conditions among adults of all ages from 18 through over 60 years old. Researchers analyzed the records of 2,108 adults with autism spectrum disorder and compared them to a control group of 21,080 adults who do not have the condition. The autism group had about twice the rate of depression and anxiety and 8 times the rate of bipolar disorder as the control group. They were 5 times more likely to attempt suicide, adults with autism also have higher rates of diabetes, gastrointestinal disorders, epilepsy, sleep disorders, cholesterol problems, high blood pressure, and obesity. And she quoted, "If we can promote better inclusion in all aspects of society, including social services, education, employment in the community, and what happens in the family, this will really be a key to promoting better health for adults with autism."
We will now answer the assigned questions for our topic. The first question is, what is the ethical responsibility of BCBAs in terms of assisting clients transitioning between settings? We believe that it is the ethical responsibility of the BCBA to ensure clients are transitioning comfortably from one setting to another. If any treatments need to be assessed and updated, it should be done. New skills should be taught to generalize to their new daily routines. As Ebony said earlier, Ethical Code 4.11 A and B states that behavior analysts establish understandable and objective criteria for the discontinuation of the behavior change program and describe them to the client, and B, behavior analysts discontinue services with the client when the established criteria for discontinuation are attained. For the second question, it was, how can behavior analysts help ensure empowerment is occurring for clients? We thought that it is the ethical responsibility of the behavior analysts to reassess their clients' current treatments and update their treatment integrity and behavioral intervention plans. This is stated in Code 3.0b in the BACB Ethical Compliance Codes. Behavior analysts have an obligation to collect and graphically display data using behavior analytic conventions in a manner that allows for decision and recommendations for behavior change program development. It is important to update, target, and encourage clients to gain the ability to do more independent tasks. To ensure empowerment, the behavioral analyst should be encouraging the client to do anything independently that they are able to do. For example, while it may be quicker to apply deodorant for the person with ASD because of their slow gross motor skills, it is more valuable and dignifying to take the time to teach the client to carry out personal hygiene tasks independently if possible. In order for empowerment to occur, it is paramount that a behavior analyst teach skills in a natural environment to ensure generalization. This is so that they can take what they learn in a clinical setting and apply it in a meaningful way to their everyday lives. For the third question, it was, are there particular clients in which empowerment would not be an appropriate approach? If so, why? For this one, we answered that lower functioning ASD individuals may struggle trying to obtain empowerment. They may need to have heavy care throughout their life. While it's important to foster independence in your clients when possible, sometimes this just isn't possible. Some clients may need heavy medical attention and/or are unable to carry out everyday tasks. Some clients have low intellectual abilities and will need to be in full-time care facilities when they age out of a school setting. It is important to follow procedures to make sure their care is dignifying, but some individuals with ASD will need full-time care in order to live productive lives. So, in conclusion, individuals with ASD who are transitioning from secondary school into society present an ethical dilemma. Is it more important to provide care for them or foster independence to ensure their empowerment? In terms of applied behavioral analysis, it can be argued that the point is to teach those with ASD life skills that they are able to generalize to their lives to encourage their independence. Continuous care is never the end goal when parents seek out ABA therapy for children with ASD. It is important for behavioral analysts to support their clients in a way that empowers them. Without empowerment, job opportunities are limited even more than they already are for those with ASD. With realistic goals and expectations set into place, providing opportunities for independence can open doors that would otherwise be closed. However, there can be consequences and risks for this. People with ASD can be susceptible to different illnesses and injuries when given too much independence and not enough support or care. If left completely alone and unsupervised in a personal or work setting, injury may occur from work-related tasks or neglected medical attention. Both sides were argued in this debate. However, in the end, our group actually concluded that we think both sides are equally important. It is unethical to not provide your client with any possibility for independence. If the ability is there, then it should be encouraged to ensure our clients are living meaningful and dignified lives. However, it is also unethical to neglect any care or support a client may need. In the workplace, extra support may be needed to ensure the client's safety. In their personal lives, clients may need extra care to ensure they are medically healthy and safe in their home environment. When you combine the right amount of encouraging a client's independence and advocating for their care, we believe you are creating the best and most ethical situation for a person with ASD's life.
At this time, myself, Tori, and Justice would like to thank all of our classmates in 619 for taking the time to listen to our debate. We hope that we have thoroughly given you enough data to side with us. Thank you.